Hey, what is up, gamers? Enforcer5150 here, and we're just going to go through some of the patch notes that we've gotten with the update to Pax Dei, because there was a huge update. You know, obviously, we got everything completely wiped, and that is just insane. We did a little video of kind of looking through all the things that I did before. I definitely suggest taking a look at the video. We also did a little bit of a comparison of the area that I was in, of all the buildings and structures that are now just completely destroyed. And I understand a lot of you may be a bit peeved, as I've seen some of the comments. But yeah, I had to be done. Well, we knew it was going to be done. They could have kept the landscapes. Honestly, I did like them, and I do like that they, you know, really looked in depth to what we were going to need in the future. But we're going to go through some of these updates real quick. We're not going to go through all of them. We're obviously we're not going to go through like the bug fixes and stuff like that. You know, that's some of the things that we'll have to do in another video. And besides, I got to do this on my break. I have to do a day job, y'all know. But anyway, let's go into the patch notes of the wipe support. We'll start there. Do the world's topography change. We have wiped the world shards by releasing all plots. See below. Yeah, so that is just basically what we're kind of going through. They also reduced the number of worlds shards but saved your characters. And now this part where we have reduced the number of worlds and shards, I did notice that, and I was wondering if they just didn't put them in yet. But it looks like what they did is they want to compress everybody more into little smaller sections, because people were a little bit too spread out. You know, they had multiple worlds. Maybe they expected to have more people in game, which, you know, I think there's, you know, maybe 2,000 people on at any given time at the largest times. So we definitely will be seeing more people in close proximity to us, which is a very good thing. We also have a redeeming queue, which I think this means that we will just, you know, be able to get our stuff, but them saying that it's on a queue, I'm wondering if I have so much time to redeem myself, because I still haven't found the plot that I want. Even if I lose the items, I don't care. I mean, I can always go back out there and get it again. I'd rather not, but it's just one of those things. But anyway, world update, terrain updates we have. And I really need to put this in a bigger screen, but we'll survive. I'll have it blown up for you a little bit. We adjusted the terrain to have more open and natural feel of the world and encourage exploration and travel. Removed several sleep cliffs, added several mountain passes, added some paths to prevent players from blocking off some areas from other players, which was definitely an issue. I ran across one person where they were like starting to build into like one of the main pathways to some of the Inquisitors, and I was just like, no, that we really can't have that. I was like, hey man, are you gonna give us a pathway through here? And they're like, yeah, sure, of course. And, you know, but they ended up moving somewhere else because, yeah, I think they realized that they would have had to block off everybody from that area. But that was nice of them. Now whatever they built is probably gone. So some mountain ranges have been lowered to make valleys more open. Added new elements to the home valleys to make them more unique. Added rock formations to some of the home valleys to facilitate building cliffs and crashes. Cliff meshes are better adjusted with the terrain so that landscape looks more pleasing and less noisy. Improved puddles. We have turned down some excess rock clutter in some biomes, notably in grasslands, rolling hills, and the lands of the stone. Added some trees on the cliffs to steep slopes. They actually made the tree sizes more consistent. Added new types of roads to increase visual variety. Now we also have some updates to the biomes, which obviously, you know, they're just completely remade. Redistributed biomes for more logical progression, making wildlands and home valleys more distinct. Some home valleys now host three base biomes. Three base biomes, 2 additional, and more advanced biomes. The advanced biomes differ between home valleys, and let's see, while the base biomes are always the same. I'm not sure. I mean, that's not really needed, but whatever. I mean, it'll work. New dynamic inspired biome. Let's see, removed gaps, areas between the biomes. Let's see, also wildlife distribution has been reviewed to fit more the biome zone difficulty. So they're trying to just make it a little bit, different, just as far as all the things that we can do. So, such as, what if we have like ghosts in certain areas and then we have wildlife areas instead, which they may have made it a little bit too much. When I was in there last, it seemed like they made it a little bit too much wildlife in areas, but I haven't really tried to mess with anything. Like I said, I was running across boars like left and right. All right, moving on. Various biome updates. Some ancient trees appear in enchanted forest. Demonic weird growth. I think that's not weird. It is weird. I don't know. But growth in dynamic biomes. Eerie Pine Forest got new look for the trees. The forest biomes should feel less uniform and improve tree clustering in non-forest biomes. Most biomes have had their names reviewed to reflect better their atmosphere, like the normal, demonic, haunted, or enchanted. Very nice that they did that. Let's see the player map, new enemy camp icons to show which faction. Oh, this part I really like that they actually have better icons and they have a better legend for all the areas and stuff that you have in game now. So that is very good, which is the next one on there. Updated the legend of the map. More icons were added to the map markers list, and slight cosmetic update. Definitely was needed. When we first started playing the game, we were constantly trying to find out what is what. And we had to like find different websites to see what to name it, because I was like going into the Ghost Forest, and I'm just like, is it called the Ghost Forest? Should I put that in my video? Should I not? Should I put it in the thumbnail as a Ghost Forest, or it should be something else? Stuff like that. I mean, it's nice to know what the areas are all called and everything. Anyway, moving on to crafting and building. Generally, we have added ability to allow players to set permissions based on clan roles. Taking damage now cancels crafting. Good. I didn't know that it did. I always crafted where I was, or in my main base, so it never was really a problem. And then we have an option to move item stacks from inventory to container, and vice versa has been added. Revamped the recipe unlock system that will now rely on skill threshold than item discovery, which I think they have to revamp even more. I haven't tried it yet, and that if they're going off a skill, that is nice. If it changes the the rate of success for things, that will be amazing, because the RNG has just been terrible in this game, and we have so much wasted product when we do that, with the way how it's been. Hopefully it's been changed. I have not been able to get in enough to look at it too much, but we'll see. Anyway, update the resource distribution based on progression of new professions and materials. Let's see, modified professions progression on XP scaling. Added a new skinning skill that determines the quality of the hides you can loot. I like that. And then we also have rebalanced all regular open world wildlife to make skinning progression easier for solo players. I do like that, but I don't want it to be too care bared to us solo players, because it's supposed to be an MMO. So, if it's too difficult for something, then you have to find other people to play with, which, it kind of sucks in some ways. But me as a solo player, I do not mind. Sometimes I will need to ask somebody for help, and I would accept that. But they're catering to some of it. That's okay. Gathering improvements. No spawn area around the plots have been reduced. And then we have a 1-button wood chopping mining feature has been added. So you can just click it and you just keep on chopping away. Gathering, now target assisted to reduce the likelihood of players missing the resource node and performing an attack instead. I've had that. All right. Wood cutting and mining skills now provide a resource damage bonus when leveled. Nice. All right, moving on to the journal. The journal can be opened by pressing J on your keyboard or clicking the journal tab in your character menu. The skills lists are now part of the journal. Then we also have the journal list all the recipes a character has unlocked, including the ingredients and crafter they need. The journal lists all the ingredients picked up or used in unlocked recipes. And then we have, we have ingredients of the recipe listed in the journal can be clicked to open for more information. Not bad, not bad. It's just, little things to the journal that they add, which, I mean, I would say it was very low on the list of things that we would need, but it's nice to have a little bit of updates for that. They could have been putting a lot of these things out in batches, like the journal. They could have updated the journal and updated the map and stuff like that instead of just putting everything out at once. And I think one of the problems with the game right now is that they're putting out too little of updates and they're just trying to put everything in at once, which it's throwing off a lot of players and getting people discouraged from playing because there hasn't been any updates, even myself included in some cases, where I was just like, okay, well, they're putting out a big update, in a month. So I'm not going to play that much anymore until I get that update, because everything's going to be wiped. Everything I do now isn't going to really matter, but we'll see. Anyway, moving on to building, new building piece variants, carved beams, new street signs, new doors, grapevine, facade pieces. Let's see, few miscellaneous pieces have been added or re-added. Some of the largest crafters are now easier to place on a plot. And we have the character fades out from, let's see, the character fades out from in front of the camera. If the camera gets too close to the character, this improves situations where players build in a tight area and the character model obstructs the view. So basically they made it so that you can actually see your character and you can kind of get away from it a little bit more. I do want to see what they did change on the actual camera mode, because now you can't see your own character, which I do not like. Because I love having those for my thumbnails. Anyway, players can now zoom in and out holding the construction hammer. Let's see, players can now zoom in out while building mode, while controlling by holding control and using the mouse wheel. Okay, so we have a few combat updates. We're going to go through these main parts quickly. Let's see, shield durability has been increased, added loot permissions to prevent ninja looting, such as NPC, when an NPC dies and stuff like that. The loot should be accessible to everybody. Let's see, now active combat mode is when the character is considered in combat. And then we also have equipment was improved to work consistently and responsibly by removing limitations and making the animations faster. We also have many enemies got their attack animations revisited, allowing more anticipation telegraphing before an attack is performed. PvE situations, enemies' progressions have been reviewed, and with the addition of more easy take camps inside the home valleys with better progression through the biomes. In the home valleys, the enemies are weaker than in the wildlands. Note that the caves have yet to get similar treatment, but remain unchanged for now. So, I mean, the caves are already kind of easy, except for the one that I went to that had, I think it was Luna Wolf. No, it wasn't Luna Wolf. I can't remember which one it was, but they had Inquisitors inside the cave, deep inside the cave, which were really tough. But they're kind of making it easier for if you're not in the wildlands areas, for the regular NPCs, which I thought they were already kind of easy. I just had to, work around it a little bit, just kind of get a little bit of strategy and not just rush in there in the beginning. But after I started getting everything, I can take them all one by one, no problem, or anything. But anyway, moving on. Locomotion, the character now runs by default. Nice. You can walk can be toggled with separate input. Default is Alt. The old method still be re-enabled in game options. All right, and moving on, running and sprinting while were reduced slightly to improve overall combat experience when moving. The sprinting cost has been reduced to compensate for the speed change. Also, the jumping stamina cost was reduced. Swimming stamina cost was reduced slightly. The fall damage system has been reworked for more consistent and predictable results. Now, the fall damage I never really had too much of a problem with, because whenever I did fall, it was from a mountain. So like something like that, you're supposed to die anyway. I never really had problems with the fall damage in general. So maybe they're gonna make it a little bit that you lose a little bit more health when you actually fall, and that'll be interesting. Anyway, the character's feet now react to slopes in the environment and correctly place their feet up and down to reflect the height of the terrain. All right, moving on to blocking. Blocking now forces players to walk locomotion, and you can't run or sprint while blocking, which you shouldn't be able to anyway. Stamina is no longer regenerates during active blocking. Running out of stamina when blocking penalizes the blocker for short stun. Blocking stops negative effects from being applied. Melee attacks and the incoming damage is mitigated by 50% or more. Staffing while blocking should no longer rotate the character. Awesome. All right, melee attacks and weapons. Melee system improved in performance attacks while moving and making it easier to run on an opponent. Melee attacks can now be aimed up and down to be able to hit enemies above or below the character. This automatically adjusted when the suitable target is in range. See, the melee hit detection was reworked to represent the weapon's path during an attack more accurately. And then we also have combat responsiveness was improved by introducing animation cancels into melee attacks. This can only be done during the attack's beginning and ending phases. Players are forced to commit an attack just before the damage is dealt. So it's mainly canceled by casting a spell, blocking, jumping, or melee special melee attacks. All right, special melee attacks can now be increased. Can cause increased stamina damage to blocking targets. So that they definitely needed. All right, damaging an opponent with melee causes them to be unable to sprint for a short duration. Let's see, the all weapon animations were retimed and their mobility was adjusted to work with the new melee system. All weapons are rebalanced and their damage distributed will be weighted at the end of the weapon attack on each. All weapon special attacks were rebalanced. Man, they put so much in here. Blaze and Viper special attacks procs were reworked to apply buildup on every hit that will cause less damage. For that, I mean, they should have had that in already. A lot of these they really should have had in earlier. I do think they put out the early access a bit too early. But I get it. They needed money, so they had to, release the early access. But anyway, moving on, various fixes for special effects, procs, and other status effects make them trigger more reliably. And then bows now correctly scale the damage based on the bow draw length. Oh, okay. So if you hold it down longer, you get more damage. Totally normal for any game. Due to the work on melee, some weapons have been temporarily removed from the game. It includes one-handed combat axes and most great swords. Ugh. All weapons with the Irabane, the slug, or mosquito special effects proc. Oh man, I wonder if I can't remember if I had the slug or I know Irabane was on one of the swords I had, but I was using mostly two-handed weapons. I started doing anyway. All right, moving on to spell casting. The spell targeting has been reworked to be much more accurate. The target also displayed for the duration of the cast to increase readability. Spell casting can now be canceled by new movement input, jumping, special melee attacks, and blocking. And then we have just straight up spells. We have added new spells: Breath of Life, channeling self-only heal spell that can be used when out of combat. Nice. Definitely need better spells for healing. Breath of Balance replenishes 60 stamina of you and the targeted player. Nice. Breath of Joy increases movement speed for a short duration. Sprinting consumes no stamina and is immune to movement impairment effects. Oh, wow. That I like. I mean, I don't know what I would use it for. Like if it's on a piece of armor, you know, I don't want that as my main thing, but I can put it on while traveling long distances and use it. All right. The Mesmerize spell had its cooldown and cost rebalanced. Oh, I wonder if it's more or less. They're not because that can make or break a lot of our solo efforts. The Mesmerize now correctly breaks when the affected target is being damaged by damage over time effects. Oh man. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely going to change some things, man. Yeah. No more just holding them down and letting it burn their damage out. All right. See, Pacify 1, 2, 3 were rebalanced to provide more straightforward progression through the spell rank. Stamina cost of most spells was increased. The cooldown of the Hunting Memories spells have been extended. Oh man. All right, we're almost there, guys. We're almost there. All right, moving on to UI, and like I said, we're gonna try to go through some of these really quick. Just trying to go through some of the main key points here. Anyway, nameplates updated to improve readability, which I definitely noticed. Hovered enemy will display their nameplate for duration. Any damage on the enemy will display on the nameplate during the duration. Very good. Nameplate fade in and out is based on distance, as long as they were in line of sight. And then we have the color reflects the current relation to the character. Gray being neutral, red being aggressive, green party member, blue clan member. The level number on the enemy is displayed next to the nameplate, which allow players to evaluate the difficulty of an opponent. They absolutely needed that. I love that they finally put that in. Spellcasting bars to accommodate spellcasting progress. This is mostly in your HUD. They change it all. They have interrupted and everything. The spellcasting does different colors. Healing numbers are displayed when a character is being healed. This does not apply to heal over time effects. Ah, dang. They should really keep it on the HOTS, man. Definitely need it on the HOTS. Anyway, camera improvements. This is the one I was most interested in. Camera collision events have been smoothed out and should reduce camera jumpiness. New camera smoothness has been added as the melee update will add more sudden movements to player character. I wonder if that's just regular character. Audio improvements. I'm not going to go through those ones. They're very they're adding things to your audios. Other updates. Most of the enemies are now played until player interrupts them, and then updated our Unreal Engine to 5.3, which is awesome. And they're up to 5.5 or 5.6 now, but it's awesome that they are improving and moving forward with that. But the rest of the stuff is mostly bug fixes and stuff that they've added to the game. Definitely suggest looking through all these. I'm obviously not going to run through them all, but because this is already a really long video, because these patch notes had a lot. And I do mean a lot, and it took me a few days to actually get to them. But I don't know. Let me know what you think, guys. This is a big update, and definitely one of those situations where we're like, oh man, this is going to be a big change, and we're going to have to do a lot of work if we want to actually get back into the game. Hopefully it doesn't discourage too many people from playing, because I do think the game has a lot of potential before its release date. I expect we might have more major changes. I don't think they'll wipe the server again, though. I think they might stick with this one because it's definitely a big thing to do, and interrupts a lot of the player's gameplay. Anyway, that's all we're going to do for this video today. Make sure you hit that like button. Definitely subscribe if you're new to the channel. Y'all take care and happy gaming.